into Three High Safeties. Austin Gayle here with Mike Renner and Ben Linsey, starting with the New Orleans Saints. Blow out the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Back in this playoff conversation, they now sweep the series with the Bucs. After this win, Ben, I'll start with you. Who is the favorite in the NFC?
I think we tend to overreact to these one-week swings a little bit. I thought the Bucs were the best team coming into the week. Obviously, you knock them down a little bit, but I still think they have the best chance to come out of the NFC. I think they have the talent offensively to compete with those other top teams. They just have to get out of their own way with the play calling. And I think they really missed Ali Marpet last night, our highest graded left guard coming into the year. The grades aren't finalized right now, but Joe Haig's pass blocking grade last night, 20.5. It was bad. And it was a big reason Brady was getting hammered in the pocket. Defensively, I still think they have the best defense of the contenders. So I'm going to stick with them.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Ben's reasoning here about not overreacting to 1 week, and it's the same thing I said when the Packers got blown out by the Bucs. I still think the Packers are the best team in the NFC because their highs offensively are higher or as high as anyone else, probably right up there with the Seattle Seahawks in terms of how they can bury you on that side of the ball. And I think this defense has the talent to put it all together any given week against any team in this NFC. They have the number one cornerback in the NFL in Jair Alexander. They have a pass rush that we've seen get home in the past. So I do think that the Green Bay Packers, they have the pieces, haven't quite put it all together just yet, but no one really has in the NFC, so I'll trust Green Bay.
Here are some bad takes coming out of this game. The Antonio Brown, the off-field stuff has already affected this offense. He's the curse. That's a terrible take. That offense was just terrible. They punted 4 times in the first 16 minutes of the game. They were down 28-0. That offense couldn't do anything right. They ran for a NFL low in a single game, 4 total rushing attempts. It's the lowest we've ever seen in a single game. That bad take, that Antonio Brown. Another bad take is that Tom Brady is washed. That's not the case either. It was just a crazy game script for this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. A good team is that our good take is that we are seeing some regression from this Buccaneers defense. Played really well to start. Jamel Dean, Carlton Davis have given up some yards over the past 2 games. I think it's close. I don't know if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the best team in the NFC, but it's a 3-headed race between the Green Bay Packers, Seattle Seahawks, who are coming off a bad loss against the Buffalo Bills, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's depending on the week, those 3 are the best teams. I can't really pick a winner right now.
Yeah, I mean, the Tampa Bay's performance was a surprise last night, but so was Seattle's against Buffalo. Is Buffalo a real contender for the Super Bowl in the AFC?
I'm going to say no. And I know what they look like against the Seattle Seahawks defense, look like world beaters. They were throwing the ball. I love that they're putting the ball in Josh Allen's hands and saying, let him win us these games. But that's also why I'm saying they're not a Super Bowl contender in the AFC. They're going to have to win 3 games to get through the AFC. You can tell me that he's going to go 3 straight games, Josh Allen, without one of those duds that we've seen him be famous for over the course of his career. And yes, he's taken a massive leap forward, but I just do not trust him with how strong the AFC is at the top to do that, because they're not going to overtake the Chiefs or the Steelers here for the number 1 overall seed at that point. Like I said, 3 straight games without a dud. I just don't see it there for Buffalo.
I think that's the best rationale for it. Like, you're not going to get a bye if you're the Buffalo Bills. And playing 3 games against these AFC teams, I don't see Josh Allen coming out of those 3 games 3-0. I think the Kansas City Chiefs are arguably the best team in the NFL, the only elite team in the NFL, because that stable piece at the quarterback position, Patrick Mahomes, who's on his way to another MVP caliber campaign for him. I think Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City Chiefs are the best teams in the AFC. And I think with that being said, I don't think Buffalo can knock them off. I don't see them as legit Super Bowl contenders. They'll get close. They're going to make the postseason. They might win in the first round, but I don't think they beat the Kansas City Chiefs and ultimately own the AFC crown.
Yeah, I agree the Chiefs are the team to beat in the AFC, but I think the Bills may have the best chance to knock the Chiefs off. It's just based on how explosive their offense can be. If Allen is hitting like we've seen him hit some this year, his downfield accuracy has improved. They have weapons to work with, adding in Stephon Diggs. So I think if you get one of those high variance games from Allen, he has the chance to knock the Chiefs off better than any team in the AFC. But I still think Kansas City is in favor.
All right, let's stop talking about the NFL. The real story from this weekend happened on Saturday night. Notre Dame upset number 1 Clemson at home. No Trevor Lawrence, whatever. That doesn't factor into the polls whatsoever in my mind after that win. Austin, how do you see now the college football playoffs shaking out?
Yeah, this one's interesting. I think what the biggest takeaway from this is that BYU and USC, I think, are all but screwed. I do not see either of those group of 5 teams making the college football playoff now, because I think what it has to be, if you want the 4 best teams in college football to go into the postseason, it is Alabama, Notre Dame, obviously, Clemson, and Ohio State. In any order you want. In any order you want. Notre Dame maybe makes 2 because they beat Clemson. Maybe they beat them in the ACC championship. Who knows? But you cannot put a BYU or UC, University of Cincinnati, in the playoff now. If this loss, without Trevor Lawrence, a close loss in OT, pushes Clemson, arguably the best team in college football, out of the playoffs, I think it's a bad strategy. It's a bad concept. You can't leave Clemson out of the college football playoff. I think they're the 4th seed lock, in my opinion. They get Trevor Lawrence this week. I think Clemson gets that 4th seed, Alabama, Notre Dame, Ohio State.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think those are the 4 that are going to make the playoffs, because I think Clemson is going to beat Notre Dame in the ACC championship game. Ian Book played really well in that game this weekend, but I don't have a whole lot of faith in him repeating that performance. So I think Clemson's going to get that over Notre Dame, and those are going to be the 4 teams in the playoffs.
I'm going to differ from you fellas. I think Alabama, Ohio State, everyone foresees them being locks to the playoffs at this point. But I'm saying Notre Dame doubles down, beats Clemson in that ACC championship game, wins the ACC outright, knocks Clemson all the way out, and then BYU, Zach Wilson, the name brand sneaks in there, even though UC is probably the better team overall and would be more deserving if they complete this schedule undefeated that they have. I think the committee wants the name brand, and Zach Wilson and BYU sneaks into the playoff.
You want to get rid of me and get back to more great PFF YouTube content? All you have to do is push that button right there and subscribe. Thanks for watching.